evening, gents, and welcome to All Four Back, your weekly broadcast of all the STS action. I'm, of course, Chester 430, and I'm joined tonight, as always, by Mr. Hadlington. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dan. Good evening, all.
And good evening to Shads. Good evening, sir. Do we have a Shads? Is Shads here? He's not. He's muted. Oh, there he is.
No,
There he is.
Hello. Hello.
Great start to the show.
First mistake. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, all. Good evening. How are we all doing?
Good.
Absolutely brilliant. So, tonight, chaps, we've got a bit of a review special tonight. These last few episodes we're going to have are going to be all sort of reviews and start the previews of the world champs and all that coming up in the show. But of course, the big talking point was the BGP and SCS matches that took place over the weekend. And I think the first thing we have to say is a big congratulations in order, because in this match, Stefan clinched the championship with 1 round to spare. And it was a great overall result for him, scoring 20 points out of 21. Yeah, it's only dropping a couple of points. But yeah, it was a great ride, great meeting from him. And Hads and Chad during this meet as well, lads. Hads, I'll come to you first, mate. It was a great ride from Stefan there, clinching the championship. And of course, for yourself, you did decent. You know, how did you find it on that night?
I think it was one of those tracks where anybody could beat anybody, really. It was a bit of a leveler. Yeah, big congrats to Steph. I mean, it's been coming for the last couple of rounds, really, just to confirm he got enough points to win the title, to be honest. So another win, another 20 points out of 21. So hats off to him. Personally, I've scored 6 points, but I was just happy to pick up any last places, to be honest. So yeah, pretty pleased with that, too, I suppose, and hopefully push on now into the World Championships.
Yeah, I'd say, Shad, you were a bit of an off night for yourself there, mate. 2 non-finishes.
Another one.
And another one. And I understand you're pulling out of the final round, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not in the last round. It's Mother's Day and we've got stuff planned, so I didn't really want to be rushing back and telling the missus, "Oh, we can't stay out too late," because I'm riding on in the last round of the Grand Prix to score 0. So I'm pulling out of it. Give someone else a chance.
Yeah. Well, of course, the replacement will be named in due course once all the draws and stuff have been completed. One noticeable performance I got to take a look at is Craig. Normally a big scorer, but only scoring 4 points that night. 2 last places in his first 2 rides, and then literally only had a second and 2 thirds. So it was very, very strange for Craig to have that much of a low score, because normally he'd be like up in the top sort of or even like top 8 for that matter, and going to the semi-finals. But yeah, again, I
don't know how much you practice, to be honest with you. It's been a recurring theme this year with Craig.
Yeah, also with Craig and his in his job and stuff, he's you know, he's trying to find time and all that, and mix around with 2 young lads as well, and you know, it's all. I mean, it's good to see Craig back in the game after I think he had a few seasons away. I think, if I'm correct in saying.
Yeah, it's been off and on, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully, you know, season 19 comes around the corner. He'll be up there with the best of them, scoring the points as per normal. Also got to say a big performance from JC, who's literally had all second places, which got him into the final. Very surprising final appearance for JC, of scoring 10 points in the qualifiers, then a second in the semi-final, only getting 3rd place in the grand final. But it was good to see the likes of JC getting back in it and getting big scores, Shads.
Yeah, it's going to be the top 8 looks very interesting now. I mean, the top 3 settled now. Ryan and Paris. I mean, Ryan's pretty much cemented 2nd place, but the top 8 looks really, really interesting. I mean, if Sizzler and Bobby ride in the last round, I think they'll be safe. But it looks like a straight fight between JC, Becky, Squall, and Craig for the last 3 qualifying places.
Mm.
So that's going to be, to me, that's going to be the interesting part of the evening. I mean, it's already won. I mean, like I say, congratulations to Steph, like you've already said. Class act in these GPs this season. If any of those 4 miss a meeting or they have a shocker, then you're looking at Deal, Shaw, and Hadlington, who are still in with a shout of that last qualifying place.
I'm not sure
So
about
that's
that,
going
Chad.
to. No, I mean, look, you know, one of them has to miss the meeting, or has a real bad night. You know, you're only 10 points off the top 8.
Well, I will say that Bobby's just posted in the group chat saying he's missing the last round. So Bobby's the one to miss out.
There you go.
We are just confirming that with Tank, because Bobby is known to sort of put a spanner in the works. He's just typing away there. See what he says.
If Bobby had a ridden in every round, he'd be probably looking at second place now.
Yeah. Bobby is confirmed to missing the last round. He's out with Mrs. Bobby in Darlington going to a gig. Oh, so Bobby.
Part timers.
So yeah. See, what you want to have now is the draw for the final round, and have like the first race being JC, Fakey, Squall, and Craig all in the same race, because then that'll literally put a spanner in the works of who's going to get first, second, and third, because then that'll change the table completely. So
just say it, Dan, and it's also great to see Limo back in GPs.
Yeah.
In
yes,
big meetings.
it was.
It'd be a welcome addition to next season's GP. Should he qualify?
Well, scoring 14 points in that round at Parkin. So hats off to you, Limo, for doing that. Tank saying there's 3 replacements for the BGP already. Looks like Capesy could be in for the BGP as well. So we might have the announcements could be few and far between on the run up to the last round at Bellevue, Manchester, which we hope. We are hoping to have the SCS streamed on that night, partly because the SCS round is the more closer tournament, as we're saying now. We're just looking at the BGP program. I mean, yeah, Limo, 4 straight wins out of his first 4 rounds or first 4 races, and then had that blip in the 5th race, getting that 3rd place, which cost him. But yeah, great to see, like, the main sort of heat leaders in the league itself scoring big points. Limo and Racer Ryan, Stefan, and Powis and JC getting as in heat leaders and stuff. But yeah, it was
no one
great.
wants to see no riders. You want to see a full field, don't you? Really?
Oh yeah, you always want to see it. You don't want to see 3 rider races, or even 2 rider races for that matter.
And you don't really want people pulling out before the end of the meetings either. It's not fair on everyone else.
So the top 3's pretty much set in stone for the BGP series. We're now going to switch gears to the BGP. Sorry, the SCS round. Sorry, my apologies. And this one, it was a congrats to Ads MFT, who took the win at Parkin, set the fastest lap, won the final, dropped had 6 wins out of 7. Only dropped that Blue Gate 2 last place, but he was unbeatable. And there's actually the fact he's going into the last round, he's actually overtaken Scotty to be top of the table going into Bellevue, Manchester for the final round. But looking at this match, it was all ads all night. And say, Shads, your thoughts on this one, because it was a lot closer than you would think.
Yeah, 7 points ahead actually now. So you'd have to say he was pretty much odds on to win it. But then you just don't know on the night. I mean, I think he's available. I think he said he's available for the last meeting, so he's definitely riding.
Ads, can you confirm that
you
for us, mate? I'm sure Ads can confirm for us if he's going to be in the last meeting. Yep, Ads is in the last meeting. He has just confirmed it. Thank you, Ads.
Oh, it's pretty much thrown up the top two. But you're looking at Stephen's pretty much. I think Stephen's 8 points ahead of Tank for the last qualifying place for the GPs next year.
Yeah.
So unless Stephen has a off night or doesn't ride, and it's still going to be a battle for that last qualifying place. I mean, you've got two battles in one there. You've got a battle for the top place, and you've got a battle to get in. But then you're looking at qualifying for next year's SCS, so we don't really know what format the SCS is going to take next year with the lack of numbers this year, because I think we've struggled this year to get people in. I mean, doubts still remain over the running of the SCS. I know there's talk about some people don't want it to run next year, and then you've got others say they want it to run, and they're looking at, someone even mentioned maybe a sort of format of 12 rider meeting, which to me is going to be a bit odd, because that means you won't be facing every other rider. So you only get the 4 rides. I'm not sure how that's likely to work out. And only 4 would qualify from the qualifiers, and only 3 if they still keep the wild card. So the qualifiers would be pretty much useless, because only 3 are going to qualify from 16. So we're not sure. We'll have to see what the numbers are for next year before we arrive. But it'd be exciting to see it go, because it gives everyone else something to do on a Sunday evening.
Well, Palace just said.
Also, can I just say heads up to Stephen, Tank, and Mackinnon for their scores as well. Yeah,
they're definitely still up there. I mean, we have Mackinnon in the chat with us. We want to say a big welcome to Mackinnon for popping in, and also Slatter as well, which sort of leads us into the next part of the show. But yeah, looking at this, I mean, I'm going to put you two on the spot now. So I'm going to start with you first, Hads.
Yeah.
Who's winning? Ads or Scotty B?
You got to say Ads is winning, ain't you? Really? I mean, you look at he only scored 10 in the first round, but since then, I mean, he's took out of 105 points, he's dropped 1, 3, 6, 7, 8. He dropped 10 points out of 105. Well, you know.
And that first round, he actually didn't ride, so it just shows you how powerful he was.
Yeah. I think it's a good battle as well, all the way down. I think we've still got to mention again, Le Sorcier, who's not riding in the league this year, made a couple of guest appearances. He should be safe for next season. I think down to Wolfie. I think we're just looking at the last couple of spots. I think if David No Fear had rode another round, he'd be in quite easily, because that 15 points, that was really good to see him coming back. I know he finished last in the final, I think it was. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I think Pompey's definitely going to be looking over his shoulder.
I think those top 3, Ads, Scotty, and Stephen, are definitely a welcome addition to the GPs next year. I mean, look, Scotty's only one round where he's been in single figures, so he's got double figures in every single round. I mean, he's done the last couple of rounds, he sort of dropped off a little bit. But it's definitely those 3. Ads should definitely be in the GPs. So should Stephen. And I don't think Scotty will disgrace himself next year either.
Yeah.
So do you agree with what had said there, Shaz, that who's winning it, Ads or Scotty B?
Oh, I have to go for Ads. He's in the driving seat at the moment. But you'd have to go for. I think.
Yeah.
Even if Scotty scores a maximum 21 points, I mean, what's Ads has got to score what, 14, 15 to retain it.
15, yeah.
Yeah,
15 to be mathematically certain.
And that's with Scotty scoring a maximum, which we know it's only been done once this season in any of the GPs or the SCS, and that was by Wolf in the first round.
Yeah, Wolf got that 21 point in that first round, which was
We know how
actually
difficult
quite a
maximums
surprise.
are to score in this game now.
Definitely. So, of course, that we are hoping for the SCS Sliders Championship round 8 to be broadcast because we feel it's going to be a lot more closer than the BGP. Of course, the BGP is all set up and that's pretty much set in stone now. We are hoping to get the SCS streamed the final round. But it's been a good season. In both the SCS and the BGP. In terms of the BGP, obviously you two both racing it. I'm going to start with you, Shaz. What's been your highlight of the year?
Highlight was qualifying. And after that, it's been pretty much downhill all the way. Actually, no, there was a round. Was it? Where was it? It was the German track.
Schalke.
Remind me, had Schalke. I think I scored double
Schalke,
points,
yeah.
double figures. I think I made the semi-final then. I think that's probably the highlight with that one. But I think from memory, there were about 3 no riders, so I think the points were a bit skewed. But I'll still take it.
Hads, what's been your highlight of the BGP?
I think I've got to agree with Shads to a certain extent in qualifying, because when I actually qualified, it was on before the bikes got changed as well. And there was some good names in the meeting, and I think I managed to finish second, and it was a run-off between 101, Ben and Fakey for the last spot. So that was a good achievement in itself, I think, just to get in there. And then I think the first couple of rounds I got to the semi-final, but just tailed off since. I mean, the standard of riders in it is just above my level, to be fair. And I've just happened to qualify the last couple of seasons from the challenge meeting. I mean, I'd love, honestly, to do a full season if I could get in the SCS and see what I can try and mix it up in there a little bit, but we'll have to see.
That's not easy either, is it? I mean, yes,
not at all.
There's some quality riders in it this year. And you got the likes of Tank, Pads, the Saucier, Wayne, Scotty, even 101. There's no mugs. There's no mugs in it.
Not at all.
When you got Mackinnon come in and score 13 points,
Yeah.
Oh dear me.
Not easy.
Yeah. So with that all being, go on, Chad.
Carry on.
I was going to say, with that being said, we're gonna switch gears now. We're gonna start off the team review part of the show. As we said last week, we had 2 teams lined up for tonight, which was going to be the Norse and the Piemen. And we're going to start tonight with the Norse season review. So I believe that falls into your hands, Hads. So the Hackney Norse, just take it away.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know it was the debut season for the Norse this year. It was good to get them included. A lot of people were saying they're going to be super team, the favourites, this, that, and the other. But it was a good. I think it was a good for the game getting them in. To be honest, I mean, if you look at the averages there, I mean, the highest average was 808. Maxton, Fakey has rid obviously in the British League before, 769 and doing really, really well in the GPs. But I want to look at the home track, the gate stats, because if you look gates 1 and 3 and gates 2 and 4 are both exactly 50% win rate if you combine the odd and even gates. Maybe that didn't give them obviously the home advantage that they were looking for. The 2 matches they did win were at home as well. But it's just, will they be looking to, if they do continue to move track, maybe get a better home advantage? We'll be asking the questions later on to the guys who are in chat to jump in. The other thing I wanted to look at was the guests and the rider replacements, because they didn't actually use any guests from the league. They used 5 pool riders and 4 rider replacements. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree. Do you think that was a downfall a little bit, maybe?
I think
They
it's
could
a
have
little
got a
bit
couple of league
difficult.
guests in.
It was a little bit difficult for them because with the league guests, you have to take a grade 2 below, don't you? So
Yeah.
with their averages being so low, apart from the top 2, the averages of being so low, there wasn't much of a choice who they could take really from the league, and not that many low average riders probably willing to ride because they were riding themselves that week. But that's probably why they had to use so many pool riders.
Yeah.
That's just my idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys have got some questions lined up, so we are going to bring in the Norse captain. He has been on the show previously with us. He was actually our first guest on the very first show of Awful Back all those weeks ago. We're glad to have him in tonight. He's brought along a couple of his mates as well, with Mackinnon and Slessers and Schoolers in the chat as well. Fakey, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Welcome back. This is your third time on the show, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing good. Pretty tired this Friday. It's been
Yeah,
a hard work week, so getting late here in Sweden, so we soon time for bed.
So we've got a few questions lined up for you, mate. I think the first one I want to say first of all is how have you enjoyed your first season with Norse?
Yeah, it's actually been really great. I didn't expect us to actually survive through the whole season, to be honest. But we did. We did it from the start to the end together, and I'm really proud of the guys of what we have achieved this season, actually.
Yeah, of course. Looking at the guests, as Hadlington was saying, you didn't use any league guests. You only used riders from the pool and also rider replacements. And as had said, was that potentially your downfall, having only pool riders as a guest in your team?
Not really. I mean, it's like, okay, I don't know if it was Chad who said the average on our riders has been pretty low. It's been really hard to find some league riders to fit in. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's look in the guest pool. Let the guys in. Let them ride some. So yeah, that was what we had to do, and at the best moment we didn't really have to use any guests at all. But guys has somewhere of the guys are working shifts, so it's not available for the meeting. So yeah, but it is what it is.
It is indeed, mate.
It's been working out with the pool this also, so no problems.
Yeah. Now we've got some questions from other STS riders, I believe. So I think Had, you've got those questions, mate. So I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Yep. Good evening, Fakey.
Good evening, man.
The first one we got is from Skyrider. He says, if you stay for another season, will you be looking to return for Hackney or change your track for a more home advantage?
No comments on that. Well,
keeping it tight-lipped.
I don't know. I mean, we're not here just to win. Actually, we're here to have fun most of all, and we think Hackney is a track that is bringing some good racing. It's enjoyable for both the home team and the guests, and it's just bring out the best of the game, I believe. And yeah, we really enjoy riding Hackney, so it's on the top of our list if we are returning for season 19. So yeah, we'll see. There might be some changes. There might not be. We'll see.
He's not giving anything away, is he?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Next one, Hads.
If you want to bring in a couple of the other guys as well to answer a couple of these ones. From JC, he said, did the team enjoy themselves in the league this season, despite your league position?
Yeah, I at least I had a lot of fun with the guys, and I believe the other guys had too. But if they want to come forward, they can tell
I
themselves
believe we got
about their
Mackinnon. I
experience.
believe we
Yeah,
got.
I think Mackinnon's unmuted himself. So Mackinnon, good evening, sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh wow, he's another perfect English. Wow, look at this.
No, it's not a perfect English. I will stumble a lot, but we'll make it.
Oh,
We'll make
brilliant.
It's better than Squall's English.
maybe.
Oh,
But yeah, we had a really fun season together. Actually, it was kind of hard to get in the races sometimes and working shifts and make it so some game days were kind of hard, but we make it come through. We had a lot of fun, and that's the most important thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
a bit of fun.
And we all enjoyed having the Swedish team in. It was all good natured. There was no moaning. It was just get on the track. I mean, a lot of the meetings were a lot closer. The racing was a lot closer than the scores suggest. I mean, there was obviously making mistakes because obviously you don't practice as much as the English guys do because we've got nothing else to do. A lot of us, so we probably understood. We probably trained a lot more than you did. But no, it was great. It was great having you all here. And then, I mean, even though you had to use a lot of guests and rider replacements, a lot of you rode. I mean, a lot of you rode most of the meetings. So, hats off to you all. I hope you do come back next year.
Yeah, hopefully.
It was a good inclusion to the league this year. I believe you have a couple more questions, Hads. If I'm right in saying.
That's right. Yeah. This one was actually from Shabs himself. If you do return, obviously next season, would you like to stay together as a team, or would you like to be involved in the, as everybody else was last season, integrated into the different groups, or?
Well, it's of course we like to ride together, but of course it's not just up to us. It's up to the commit, or what do you call it, the bosses of the
Committee.
league, the committee. What if they would let us ride together again, or if we have to be integrated with other teams and so on. And of course, if all our riders are still up for another season, that's another question. The most of them are still positive about it. So, and we have some other guys on the list who is willing to step in, ready to join. Some other Swedes. So yeah, we'll see. Of course, we really enjoyed this season together, and I think we all would like to keep on going this way we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bobby just put a message in the chat saying, "Let them ride together." #save the Norse. I agree with that because you guys have been a great inclusion to the
Yeah,
to the league.
definitely.
We all agree with that. I think.
The other thing I was going to sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I know there was some comments before we were entering the league together there that we should be like, we could become the Real Madrid of SPS and so on. And I know we were just laughing about it. We know that we have, of course, me and Max has been good all season, but the other guys is a little bit less experienced guys, and there's a lot of nerves the first season and all the first meetings and all so on. But yeah, but of course, if hopefully we can stay together, we can improve and actually become like real contenders for next season, and actually not just being a punchbag for you other guys.
We had two wins this season, so that's two more than a lot of people thought you would have.
Yeah, it was. You see that over the season. I know. I mean, there has been a lot of improvement. I know the young guys, Sleta, Julio, and Koba, and Gerebru they're not as experienced as might like me and Max and Maki, who has ridden a lot before. Well, we took our time with them after some meetings where and really try to help them, and I think that paid off really good, and we have seen a lot of improvements during the season. But of course, there's still some mistakes from the young guys, but I'm really proud of them, what they have achieved this season, and they're just been they have been what you say they haven't given up, so to say. They have been patient about themselves, most for yeah. So it's been a fantastic season actually with the Norse.
Mackinnon just put in the chat. I loved it when Slater broke his headset.
Yeah, he should.
I think he took a picture and like you put it in like a group chat or something, didn't he? Oh, that was quite funny.
Yeah, and
So,
now
yeah,
we're always we guys, we know each other.
Yeah.
They're in real life also, so we are always like chatting, and during the race days we are always in our own channel, talking to each other, and and Sleta is a pretty intense guy when it comes to riding, and
Yeah.
and that the day all you heard there was something was flying and crashed, and we didn't hear from him for a couple of minutes. Then he sent us a picture of his head broken in
It was
two
like,
pieces.
whoops. Oh dear. So we are looking at the couple of the victories that you had last year. You start with that 10-point win against the Pie Men, which was quite a good one for you guys. Only having you scored a paid max in that meeting, Fakey, which is great to see. And then of course you had the big one, the 57-33 demolition of the Warriors, league champions Warriors, should I say now. That meeting had everyone's head scratching because we couldn't work out how you did it, beating the Warriors by such a big margin.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising for us too. But I told the guys before the meeting, no pressure. We suck. Just go in and have fun. Take it as practice. Just ride like you usually do in practice, because the guys are actually really good on practice. But I think there's some nerves that always come in when we go into a meeting. I mean, yeah, all the guys is doing a lot of great times in meeting, and they're really fighting hard. But yeah, exactly. In this meeting, I saw that from the first race, the line that the Warriors were taking, they're going outside, and I told the guys, okay, boys, they're riding it totally wrong. You know that, guys. You know what to do. Keep your lines, go out and block so they can't come around you out of the bend. We just kept the line, and it was a good night for sure.
Wow. That was definitely
we all enjoyed that. We all enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a big surprise for us too. But yeah, we saw it. It took. I really don't remember the meeting in my head. My short mind is pretty low. So, but yeah, we got a good start from the beginning, and of course they changed their they appeared the track afterwards there after a couple of beats, so it was a little bit more tight, but we had a good start, of course, and that helped us a lot with this meeting. Just to have the start, it builds confidence for the guys too, and they can ride a lot more relaxed. So yeah, it was a good night.
Awesome. Hads, any more questions for Fakey while she got him? I think got one more, I believe, or have you done them all?
Yeah. I bet. I was just going to say. I bet Slater have a new headset for that meeting.
Slater, can you confirm?
Well, I was going to go on to the.
He does indeed.
He's a bit shy.
The individual performances. I mean, from yourself, Fakey, in the GP. I mean, you find yourself in a pretty good spot going into the last round. You can still obviously get in that top 8 for next season. I I know the other couple of the other guys have been in the SCS. But I think, as Squall's just said there in chat, he should put your rider of the season for him was Shulio. He actually rode in the BLRC in the week and actually scored 6 points, which is no mean feat against the top guys. I mean, at that level. So, how are you looking to prepare for the last round into the GPs?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I gonna approach it because I mean, if you look at the previous results in my EP meetings, I have my best scores in Norrköping, Vargarna, where I finished third, I believe. I didn't have any practice at all before that meeting, and it went pretty well. Same with the BLRC. I had like 30 minutes of practice before. Didn't think I was gonna manage to do anything in that meeting. Went out, become third place. So I believe no practice is my story to success. So I will probably not prepare a lot. I might just take like a half an hour before the meeting, just see where are the lights, what track to ride, and just go from there.
Awesome. I think that's everything for that review, Fakey. Say thank you for popping in and being part of the show, and thanks to Mackin as well for giving his intake as well. So appreciate you both coming in. Of course, you're both in individual action in the SCS and BGP respectively, I believe. So we wish you all best of luck for that one. And yeah, so thanks again for coming in, Charles. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot to you guys.
No
Thank
worries,
you.
thanks, chaps.
Thank you for having us this season. I would like to say it's been weird. As I said, we have enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll come back next season if we're welcome.
You'll be a welcome inclusion, Fakey. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah,
you'll be welcome inclusion. Take care, mate. All the best.
You too. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Cheers, Mackinnon. So that was the Hackney North review there, and I got to say it's been a great inclusion having them in the league this year. So I think we're going to go into our first break, or our only break of the show tonight. When we come back, we're going to have the BLRC review, have a chat with the eventual winner, Powers 84, and then we're going to move on to the Piemen review with Shads and Ben Thompson. So I believe it is STS question time. I think Shad's got something lined up if he has. Is that correct, Shads?
Yes, I have. Yes. Without looking on the forum.
Sure, Badger's not here.
Yeah, Badger's not here.
Who has the most BLRC appearances?
Without looking on the forum, who has the most BLRC appearances? Get your think caps on, chaps, and we'll see you again in 5 minutes. And we are back. That was the wrong screen that Tank put on there, but we worked it out. So the question was that we had before the break was who has the most BLRC appearances? Shad, do you care to enlighten us about the answer?
Yeah, Mr. Paris got it straight away. Surprise, surprise. It's unknown with 11.
11, wow.
Closely followed by Tank with 10. Paris and JC both have 8 appearances.
Let's see the answers here. You had so Power said unknown. You had Squall said ads. Capesy said Stefan. Scotty B said Craig. I think Craig's got 7 appearances. Am I correct in saying?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
7.
7. Yeah,
Mm.
there's a few ones. There's quite a few on 7 actually.
Yeah.
I didn't
So yeah,
go that far down.
unknown has 11 appearances in the BLRC. Wow, that is certainly a record that can last a while if the riders underneath him can continue riding. Speaking of the BLRC, individual time now, the review of the BLRC, which took place at Cradley over the last couple of days. And it was a big result for the Storm as their number 1 Powis took the overall victory in what was quite a entertaining final, actually. To tell you the truth, I did see the final race that was posted. It was a great ride. But to be fair, I mean, Stefan did have it sort of after the first corner. So there we see the program, and of course, yeah, Stefan there started with 2 third places, then had 11 in his next 4. There was that final that got him, and then Powis was just consistent throughout the whole meeting. Chad, your thoughts on this one, lads? It was a great meeting.
It's great to watch. I mean, I've made my commentary debut, and
Yes,
it was
of
very
course
fun.
Yes,
Very,
yes,
yeah, it was very me and Alan. Yeah, it's a very fun meeting to watch. I'm glad I wasn't riding in it because it was some pretty tough racing, and that's a very narrow track. Very narrow track, very difficult track to pass on. And if you're waiting on someone to make a mistake, and there were quite a few to be fair. It was great performances as well. People you wouldn't expect. I mean, Becky had a really good night. Won 3 heats, got to the semi-final. I mean, Sizzler was terrific all night. I mean, he was very unlucky. I mean, electric from the start as usual. Looking down the screen, Stefan as usual. Limo was great. Limo could be in the GPs really. But it's disappointing. I mean, my top 3 were Stefan, Ryan, and Dilshaw, and Ryan had a disappointing night. And he started off really badly and put a lot of pressure on himself. Won his last 2 heats, but it just wasn't enough for him. I was surprised. That was a surprise of the night for me, was Ryan not getting into the semi-final at least.
Yeah, so I totally agree there, Shaz. Of course, I say Stefan also took a lot of slow starters in the in that meeting. I'll say Stefan had a slow start, and Ryan as well. So we were thinking like, so there's gonna be someone new coming in, and yeah, it was great to see.
Yeah, I mean JC and JC was pulled in at the last second. I think it was pulled out. I think Big Caney didn't turn up, and Wolf didn't turn up. I think they were no shows. JC rode, and Julio rode as well, didn't he? He came in at the last minute. They would have had very little practice. So I mean, even 6 points for Julio without any practice is pretty good.
Capesy with the comment, thought Shad had blown his load when I was in the lead. Oh, brilliant.
I did get a little bit excited.
You did.
Yeah. And, let's not talk about Zaligar's store.
No.
He had a pretty awful night. He was one of my favourites, actually.
Mm.
He was one of my favourites to at least make the semi-final. He had a terrible night. I think he pulled out the last 2 races as well.
Yeah.
But he pulled out the meeting after the first 3.
Tanks just said, "Was you riding your Audi from Parkin?" Says Capesy, or says Tank to Capesy. Hads, do you agree with that? What Shaz just said there? It was a great result for in terms of a Storm perspective, with Powers coming in. But of course, Stefan threw it away turn 3 in that grand final. Yeah, it was a great ride from all of them. In fact, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I did watch the majority of the meeting. I mean, it was a shame that the ones who pulled out actually didn't ride, the likes of Craig. I don't know, couldn't make it, and there was another couple, Dons, I think. But the guys who come in did pretty well. I mean, that heat win, like you say, from Capesy. I mean, when I was watching it in the commentary, it was just like, wow, it was just gone, and he just kept increasing the lead like every lap, and I was like, you know what, fair play to him, because especially how well Scissor gated in his first one. And to beat Fakey and Zygar and Sizz in the same race is pretty good. I mean, there was another couple of, I think Score was unlucky in his last one. And also Cam, if they'd have picked up some points, they could have got in the semi-finals as well. So it was quite open right up until the last race. But as you mentioned before, Limo, I mean, he was so quick again. If his availability allows, I'd love to see what he could do in the GPs next season, because the 2 meetings over this, what we've reviewed, he was really good. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, he can get in next season.
Well, with that being said, we are going to bring in the winner of the BLRC. He's been known to be a little bit shy and a little bit quiet, but we're going to give him a chance to, get his thoughts on the events. Hyde Storm rider this season, was in many Heat 15s with Craig and getting the 5-1s in the league format. Has been a star throughout the entire season 18 and also previous years. We welcome in the one and only Powis 84. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, you?
Long time no see, mate. How's it been?
Hey, it's been a while, and I think it's Cardiff last time.
Yes, it was actually Cardiff. Yeah, it was. Powis, you had a good meeting that night. Do you rate Craig as one of the tracks you enjoy to ride?
Be nice.
Yeah, I tend to go well there. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite tracks, but I've always scored all right there, so it can't be too bad.
We're just trying to see if we got the final on tab for us to all to watch, because to start with, you made a decent start, and then of course Stefan literally cut up the inside, and then he threw it away in turn 3, and then you just pulled away and was untroubled. It was when you crossed the line that last race.
I think there was a slight nudge he got off it might have been off Becky going into that third bend. Sort of put him offline a little bit.
We've just seen it now. There's that cutback from Stefan.
He got a little knock there.
Boom.
He got a knock there, didn't he, from Becky? Did you see that?
If you play that back against Tank if you can, mate.
Hang on, let's finish it off. He just gets a nudge in the back from Becky right there. Very slight, but enough.
Yeah, and of course, then you took the lead then, Powis, and even though you had a lot of pressure from Fakey and also from Sizz, you held on, and it must have been a great result crossing that line and getting that win.
Yeah, it's always nice to win a title, isn't it? Just had to ride quite sensible, not leave a gap at the inside, and that was it really.
And of course, you've been riding really well for the Storm in the in the league this year, just coming up short in the final outcome of the championship, but a silver medal for the Storm this year in what's been a pretty close season, right the way through to you and the Warriors. What's been your highlight of the year so far?
It's getting to ride with
Race-
Craig again,
Racing with
probably.
me.
Yeah, and Shaz.
Racing with the whole crew.
Yeah, we've all gotten really well this season, so it's been a good laugh all the way through.
Yeah. Do you see yourself coming back for season 19?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to now.
Definitely. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Potential Storm again, or do you think maybe could be a change of scenery for you?
I've got no idea. Like,
No idea.
I don't know whether Lango's carrying on, so I don't know whether Storm will be there. So, and I don't know. I ain't been asked by anybody properly, so I'm open to offers. Anybody's listening.
Well, I think we are going to have a potential announcement in regarding to season 19. So, keep your fingers crossed about that one. But again, riding with the Storm, you were part of a lot of Heat 15s with you and Craig. I mean, at the start of the year, we had the team building, and when Storm announced you, Craig, and Ads in the same team, we thought there's no way that we're beating that team.
And then they announced the rest of the team.
And then the rest of the team. Oh dear. And then they announced the rest of the team, yeah. But again, you've had a fantastic year, Pal, on and off, on the track, in the team and individual side of things. Just talk us through it. How you been?
The league stuff. I think that's the second league title I've lost on points difference now. So that wasn't very good, but second's not bad. It's always nice to get a medal at the end of any competition, really. So,
And don't forget the KO Cup.
Yeah, we won the knockout
Danny.
cup. That was good.
Yeah, we won something.
Yeah.
We didn't walk away empty-handed.
No, I think we got
And we
second
stopped the Warriors doing the double as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which you were the last team to do, weren't you? Was it? It was Crusaders did it, didn't they? In season 17. Yeah, I think the Crusaders won the.
He's got his thinking cap on now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know. Well, I think Storm. It was. Was it the 14 tournament at Scunny? I think it was you and Ryan in a runoff for the title.
Yeah,
if I'm correct in saying that one. And then Warriors and Storm were both beaten by the Cowboys in the pairs, if I'm correct in saying.
Yeah, the pairs didn't go very well.
Yeah,
but
pairs.
We'll not talk about that one.
But to be fair, you've had second, first, and what was the pairs result? Were you second or third now? One?
Fourth or fifth, I think.
Well, yes, so outside the final.
Yeah.
We tend not to remember the meetings we didn't win.
Wasn't by me, but...
Yeah. But so overall, season 18 has been good for you in terms of, on track actions. So say you've already confirmed for season 19 now. So what can we expect from the legend that is Powys?
4 trophies, hopefully. Try and knock Stefan off the Grand Prix top step as well.
You've won every major trophy now, bar the GP. And I think you've been runner-up in that twice.
Yeah.
So what's the prospect of you finally getting your hands on that?
It'd be nice. Stefan needs
someone kidnapped Stefan.
Needs to go on holiday or something, doesn't he?
like a 6-week holiday or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Hads, any questions for Powell? We've got him here.
Yeah. I just want to say, who do you think, obviously from your team, basis? I know it's hard to with the riders you had in your squad. Who would you say improved the most over the season?
Probably Hutty. He's took like 1.5 points on his average, I think.
Yeah,
Ad's
he did.
done what we expected him to usually do, so I know he put more on his average maybe, but that's kind of what I expect from him anyway, so yeah, Hutty probably.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Yeah, definitely. And he was a lot more active than he's been in previous seasons. I mean, he was in training quite a lot. I mean, he was even there when he wasn't even going to be in the side. He was still training with us. So it's great to have, you know, such. I mean, you can say the whole squad was enthusiastic and we were training. But apart from Craig, we knew this situation with Craig anyway. But we all sort of like think the practice, and most weeks we had 6 or 7 available. So I don't think we used a guest in the league this year. I think we just 2 rider replacements and no guests at all, apart from the 2 KO Cup meetings we had. So that's that was great. That was great.
It's just been a great season with all 7 riders, really.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Wayne is saying in the chat, no Phoenix next season, says vice captain.
No, I'm not a captain. Forget that. I ain't got time
No?
for that at the minute. And I'll probably clash with Sis anyway. We'll both be top group, I reckon. Pulled his finger out finally and had it to number 1 properly.
He didn't do what he normally does and try and lower his average at the end of the season. Left that to Bobby.
Well, Tanks put a message in the chat saying which Storm Rider could do better next season. And then Squall said, give me a C. Tanks said, give me an R. Had said, give me an A. Squall said, give me an I. And Tanks said, give me a G. So that, do you agree with what I said there with Craig?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Craig upped his average this year.
Yeah, he went above a 9, I think, didn't he?
I think he definitely upped his average. I'm pretty sure he did. Hang on,
Yeah.
I've got the stats there. Yeah, he went from an 8.96 to 9.16. So he upped his average.
Not sure how.
There's only 2 riders in the whole squad that didn't.
Lango
and Skyrider.
Lango dropped about 10 points on his average, I think.
Lango dropped 1.86.
Squall has says Craig as the GOAT should be averaging 10.5 at least. I'll say, well, you were 10.19, I think, Paris, I believe. I think only you and like Ryan were like top 10-point average riders, I believe.
Yeah, the tracks seem to suit me a bit more this year, apart from maybe Berwick, although I scored all right there, actually.
Yeah, we're just looking at the Storm. I mean, we should be getting to that one at the in 2 weeks' time with the review for the Storm. We're just looking at just a brief preview of that. Wayne has said in the chat, are you going to see any proper speedway next season, pal?
Yeah, I should be visiting different tracks, I think, this year. Try different ones that we ain't been to before. Workington. I think I've been Redcar once, but I'll go
Come
back
up to
that
Berwick.
Berwick,
Come up to Berwick.
You'll have a place to stay down there.
Yeah.
You'll have a place to stay at Berwick.
There's some lovely hotels.
Yeah, we'll get around to as many as we can, I think. It's going to be weird, like, not going to Mama every week.
Yeah.
First time in about 34 years, I think.
Tank says Craigie Harrell, I believe, is waiting down in pool with a pint, if I remember him saying. I think you're right there, Tank. So pool's definitely on the cards for some people this year, I reckon.
Yeah, he's going to stick his hand in his wallet.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hads, any more questions for Powell? We got him here because we got to move on to the next part of the show.
No, that's it. I think Mal just nice for see a Wolves fan, shall we say, win at Cradley.
A Wolves fan win at Cradley. Oh. Your response to that, pal?
He loves it, really.
You should be used to Wolves beating Cradley lot round there.
I won't mention that.
Shads anymore? You got?
No, I was just going to talk about a little bit about the BLRC. Were you a bit worried after your start, your first couple of races? I think it's your first 3 races. You didn't win a race for the first 3. Were you a bit worried that you weren't going to make the semi?
Yeah. Well, my usual in the BLRC is I miss out on the semi by count back or a point or something daft, apart from last year. So the last 2, I just know how to go out and win them and then sneak into the semi.
Well, you had me worried, I must admit, after your first 3 races. I mean, your second, and a third.
Just enough.
Yep, you certainly deserved it.
Yeah.
Well
Definitely,
done, Mods.
definitely agree with that. Yeah, well done. Big well done.
Yes.
So with that being said, pal, it's been great having you on board, mate. I mean, I know we don't hear from you very much, being the silent. Of course, you've been riding with an injury this year. How is the injury? Is it on recovery, or is it still hit and miss?
Probably about 80-90% now. Like, there's no real pain. I just ain't got the full movement, which I'll probably never have back. So it's all right. It's manageable.
Yeah, I wanted to get that in before we finished. But yeah, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, pal, for coming in, mate. And wish you best for the BGP at Bellevue, and of course the World Championships coming up as well, which I believe you're in too.
Yeah.
So yeah, really appreciate it, mate. Thanks for popping in.
Cheers. Thank guys.
No worries, mate.
Danny.
Take it easy. Well, it's very rare we get Power Sing. As you said, it was quite a quiet lad.
My powers of persuasion.
Yeah, but it's all good. We got him in, having a chat, and yeah, it's all well and good. So, with that being said, we're going to now move on to our second team review, which I believe is the Piemen of Berwick. So I believe, Shads, I hand it over to you, good sir.
Hello. Yes. We're talking about the Berwick Piemen,
Yes.
the nearly men of STF. Well, when the team was announced and the track was announced, a lot of us were pretty worried, looking at them thinking, that's going to be a tough. Nobody really likes riding that track. It's pretty daunting. But they, I mean, without being too unkind, they had a bit of a shocker this season. They started off the season pretty well. Started off with 3 comfortable home wins over North, Dynamite and Scorchers, and a draw against the Cowboys, and then it would been a bit downhill after that. Heavy defeats at home to Storm and Warriors. A narrow defeat away at Somerset. I think they got a point at Somerset, which got everyone, thinking, And their away win at Hedges' team at Bedcar. Then they're going to lose at Hackney. I think the problem with them this season has been availability, as Hads probably knows all too well. I mean, the number 1 Dons, he only rode in 8 of the meetings. The least number of meetings for any number 1 in the league. And then you had Speedy, who was their number 3, only rode 7 meetings. And then Pompey, he disappeared completely after he'd had his minimum match count. We didn't see him again after sort of mid-January. So the season started full of promise and just went a bit downhill at the end, and just slipped down the table. They seem to slip down the table every week.
Yeah,
I know they had a few problems pre-season because there was a lot of talk about the Peterborough version 2 track coming back, which sort of tempted a few people to sign up for the season. I mean, you had Fatal Error signing up, Captain Pie signing up, and Wayne signing up, all within like a day of each other. And then within a few hours after it was announced that it wasn't going to be allowed back in the game, they all withdrew their sign-ups, which left I think left the Piemen in a bit of a state. And then I think Crook signed up for the league as well, I think. And then when he found out he was going to be at Pies and not the team he wanted to sign for, I think he pulled out as well. So you got to feel for Bewitch for a little bit, because I think team, if he had some riders lined up, it was pretty much thrown out the window before he even started the season.
Yeah, we're just seeing the 3 sign-up withdrawals of the Piemen, Wayne, Captain Pie, and Fatal Error. So literally, the Piemen were on the back foot from the start, which leads me on to bringing in our second guest for this review. Always popular for refereeing and screen sharing. First time appearance on the show. He'll say it like it is. We welcome in Ben Thompson. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. How are we all?
Yeah, not too bad,
How
mate.
you doing, Ben?
I'm good, thank you. On children duty, but yeah, I'm good.
Good man. Now, of course, Piemen this year, bit of an up and down season for you guys. I mean that also showed in the Piemen Warriors match, the last match of the season. You've had a lot of ups and downs in terms of rider availability. Just talk us through your season, how it's been for you.
Yeah, I mean, for us, really, I think the key was, like Shad said, there was obviously a downhill spiral as we went through the season. And I think, obviously, as well, he alluded to availability, was that was the big thing. I mean, we started the season and we was near enough on full team servers, which obviously then, was reflective in our scores. And I think, as we went through the season, it started coming down. And I know before the last couple of meetings, I know things have happened with personal reasons with certain riders, with health and things like that. So those sort of things can't be helped, and obviously we respect that comes first. So, and work and things. So we did get down to sort of 3 rider servers. We didn't get as many servers, and there's no one to blame, because I it's not like I was there at the door ready to be open every night. So I'm also there as well, not opening. So not everyone can open, so and that started to show, and obviously we at the very beginning we had Crook in, which, and then unfortunately, a bit similar to the previous season with the Brewers, with myself, there was sort of a bit of a fallout, and then he wanted to leave, and then obviously returned for another team at the end of the season. So it was a bit of a sort of similar scenario with that, but obviously left us a little bit short. Obviously Speedy came in, but then obviously difficult because his availability, it's stuck to two days a week really, because of his work. So again, was difficult to work around, I think, for BW. And then obviously himself, he sort of had issues near the end of the season, and he sort of, as you've seen, I think Squall took over for one meeting, and obviously Don's with his work as well near the end of the season. So as I say, I think that we know the answer and the reason why we went, sort of downhill, and there was still consistent riders. I mean, you look at Squall; he kept his average near enough the same all the way through the season. That's consistency for me. I know you'd look to maybe up his average as a captain, but for me, that's consistency that you need in a team from a middle order rider. And as you've seen, he's gone up to number 2. And obviously the away averages he's helped us out really well away from home and topping those. So for him, he's probably opened the most as well servers, is pretty much did not being the captain or assistant captain, vice captain. He did pretty much similar sort of role, getting us egged on and things like that. So I mean, I had self sort of own opinions of Squall, but I had never really spoke to him or anything before this season. And actually, he's a good guy, and the same with everybody else, And unfortunately, sometimes because I do speak my mind, then I have got enemies, which I try and repair. But unfortunately, certain things get said and they can't be repaired. But but the season in general, we've had fun. For the servers we've had, I think for myself, Berwick's very difficult, and Dan, you alluded to it in the Warriors match about it's very tight, and the other thing is the actual racing line is very tight, and you slightly go off it and you can lose so much momentum. And for myself, as you can see in most of my meetings, I start off really well, get to the end of it, and go off because that lack of concentration at the very end, and then that's shown in other areas, with guest appearances and things. You'd to get plenty of guest appearances, but unfortunately, if you're not consistent, look at what happened when I went and guested for Dynamite this season. I was not happy with that. And that's why not consistent. And unfortunately, if you don't practice, you're not going to be consistent. So and unfortunately, other things outside the game, as I've said, do come about, and they have to be respected at first. But I think that's probably the main area. So yeah, but yeah, it's overall good.
Yeah, you were quite active this season. You were doing a lot of refereeing, a lot of screen sharing for us, which we appreciate you doing for us. So in terms of you were trying to get your practice done, but then also trying to referee a match, and you had to race whilst you were reffing as well. Did you ever think some people think to themselves, I can't do this no more, and you want to give it either the refereeing or the riding just to focus on one thing?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do think about it. I mean, obviously, it's been alluded to that my meetings go pretty quick. So that sort of I had hoped to maybe do some reffing and jump on servers afterwards, because I know last season a lot of our servers were sort of late on, but again I know because of work and things like that, and family and stuff, that's possible. It just depends who you get in your team, so, and that was the sort of look for myself at the beginning of the season, but I didn't want to give up on the commitment I had sort of set at the beginning, and I've met a lot of people from this game over time. I think I joined in maybe season 4, and I've sort of been the quiet one for a while until sort of I think I erupted a bit when I joined Phoenix, and that was really where I sort of became I had to be a bit responsible for what I said, and and that's where we are now. But as I say, with the reffing and things, I mean, it keeps where I'm at the minute is my partner works nights, so every night at the minute, a lot of the time I'm by myself, so the game actually does help with my mental state. So a lot of when I do refereeing, it's to actually help myself. So and I'm glad as well that I can be thankful that Thrax has seen a lot of that this season and actually come to me and offered up big meetings to me rather than just the league meetings or like the Knockout Cup final second leg and things like that. So, and I really appreciate that because it is helping me, and that's sort of where it lies really, why I do so much. But I do think as well, like you rightly say, is that it may that might be the reason for my inconsistency, because I'm losing out on the practice to do the refereeing. So and you know, that is probably where my downfall is. As I say, I enjoy the game too much as a community base rather than, you know, individually. So you know, of course you'd love to win things. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, that everybody's enjoyment is more valuable than, you know, myself, really. So yeah, that's sort of where I am.
Well, we've got a few messages in the chat. Hadlington's just said Ben for head ref. Fakey has said Ben has been an awesome ref.
Good shout, that actually.
Scotty B has also said, appreciate your reffing, mate. You've been great. So what would you say to potentially being head ref in the future, Ben?
I mean, as I say, it's not something I've ever really thought about. I mean, my main aim when I first joined the game was be a captain. Obviously, that happened, and then unfortunately, because of previous decisions and things I said, that became very hard to get riders. So that became difficult. So I mean, you know, thinking of head ref, I mean, Frax does a great job, you know, and I'd be in a position where I'd only really look at it if it became, you know, an issue for Frax. So, you know, time or anything like that, that would only be a reason for me to look at it. Because, you know, as I say, does a great job, the same as Stephen used to. So I'd not really thought about it, but as I say, if I got asked the question, I would have a think about it, and, you know, potentially that could happen. But then I'd have to get round to the basis of not trying to do every meeting.
Yeah, that's always the side of thing. Like, I'm the same with the announcing side of things, like being lead commentator.
Yeah.
Not doing every single one, but doing like the big ones. So like the last match, which was Pies against Warriors, and then doing the SCS last round. Of course, you know, it does take, you know, time and commitment to do it. Shads, any questions you got for BT while I got them here?
I was going to say, Ben, there was only two of you in the team that actually upped your average. I mean, you put nearly 2 points on your average this season. So
Yeah.
whatever you were doing, you were doing something right. I mean, I think you were pretty unlucky when you raced against us at your place. I mean, I think you had Squall and Donza out. I think you had a pretty weakened side on the night. So no, you should be pretty pleased with your. I mean, Bewitcher obviously put points in his average, but he was riding at second reserve for part of the season. But no, you should be very pleased. I mean, you went from a 3 point to almost 6. So I think you should be pretty pleased with your performance this season in a struggling side.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, obviously, with that. You know, I mean, another little personal stat as well. Obviously, your fellow commentator Hadlington. I don't know if he knows this, but he finished top of the bonus points for the season. And
he's been reminding us all week.
And I was going to say, and he beat me by 1. So that was I did notice that the other day. But yeah, no, it's been an all right season. I mean, obviously a lot has to do with the tracks. I mean, some seasons I have really good seasons away rather than at home. If I had any sort of side whether I wanted to stay, no, not really. I mean, at I'm not saying that as the team, more, you know, the track. Obviously, at the beginning of the season as well, it does become a bit of a home track advantage. But by the time the recordings come out, things like that, you know, people learn the track. It's not, you know, it's not like it's rocket science to learn it. You know, so that becomes more difficult. And I think with any track and the recordings, that does make it difficult. But you know, I mean, at the end of last season, you know, BW came to me and we spoke about V2, and you know, that was a big, you know, aim for us. And obviously, where I was in the bottom group, you know, and so it was becoming what we thought was going to be a really good team. And then, unfortunately, as you sort of alluded to, we lost 3 because we couldn't go to V2, and yeah, sort of the rest was history, really. So we had to relook at things. You know, I wasn't very happy with the track, should I say, at the beginning. It was my least favourite out of the ones we had shortlisted. But you know, everyone loves a challenge. So you know, if that meant that it kept me more interested in the game rather than riding a track that was sort of like, well, this is just, you know, this and that, you know, and that's it, and there's nothing to it, then what's the point? You know, you want something to keep you challenged, especially when you're doing servers where you don't really have any time in between races. It's just sort of, you know, bang, 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 and we're practicing, you know, smashing off sort of 15 heats in you know, 15 minutes, really, even sometimes less, you know, just to get the practice in. So, and then when you obviously have a technical track like Berwick, you know, that just doing, fortunately, sometimes 1 server a week, it becomes difficult, whereas there isn't much give. So, you know, I mean, for myself, a lot of mine was, I have to say, and you've probably picked up on it this season, is a lot of my sort of average increase has been down to doing my, as everyone calls it, Steph laps. So doing a Stefan practice race before. So for me, that has helped, and also doing 1 before that. So I do sort of 2 and then straight into the race. So that has helped me a bit. It may just be because I think it helps. You know, obviously it's shown that in my scores, with doing the refereeing as well. So that's why I say sometimes I'd have to think about taking on other responsibilities, but I don't think it is always to blame with my riding. I think it's more using my other time, my other free time, to actually focus on it. You know, I mean, you look at my performance at the beginning of the season in the GP qualifier, and you know, that was because, funnily enough, I practiced that track for a week, and I didn't do anything else every night. So, you know, and that would then show in that meeting.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just having that time and you know, putting into it, really. But
Well, just seeing a message in the chat from Tank. He said that Ben has refereed as a neutral 18 meetings. As a contingency, he's done 4 meetings. He's done most in the league. He's done 1 in the SCS, 2 in the 4-team tournament, semi 2 in the final, a couple in the Knockout Cup, and the BLRC. You've been one busy bunch, haven't you, mate?
yeah, just I mean, just as I say, how I like it, really. You know, and it just keeps me enjoying it, really. You know, sometimes you need that rest from just going round on the track as well. So seeing it as a referee, you know, you get some people that don't like certain decisions, and I get that. And you know, I have to say, one thing this season I've done a lot more of is pull races back a lot sooner. I used to have a lot of people that didn't like the fact that I'd leave every race to the end and then pull it back. You know, so sort of, and obviously this season there's been a big thing on the first corner, and obviously what you would class as contact. And for me, it's even the ruling out a little bit from before, because before, when in my first season as Brewers, it had to be contact from an opposition rider. So then when certain riders got contact with with their own rider and then went into an opposition rider from that first contact, and that was then seen to be, well, it was the initial contact that caused it. Obviously that then caused a lot of issues. Whereas this season, you know, certain things, but I've only ever really been called, what I can remember, called out twice this season about certain first corner decisions. You know, and it's really that where you class the contact being. It's always been ones where the contact has been on the first bend, but the actual going in has been past the first bend, so that's where it's a bit of a grey area for certain people and how they read it. So I get that it needs ironing out, but yeah, I'll remain busy. Just whatever. I'll run a meeting to how I think, and I try and, obviously, as you're aware with the live streams, I try and get it like a proper meeting with my 2 minutes and things like that, and just for people to enjoy, really. So keep me busy, guys. Keep me busy, and but the best thing would be more riders, more teams, more matches to referee. Let's go.
Happy days, man. Well, that's one way of putting it, mate. It's been great. So of course we've had Powis give his season 19 availability. Will we see Ben Thompson in season 19?
Yeah. He's got. I think he's got to be done, really. I mean, I did throw my dummy out a bit mid-season, and I think I said to Tank I wouldn't be riding in the SCS series next season and things like that. But it's one of them. I think I don't think you can let it go, really. Once you've got in, there's a lot of things that I do get bored of, but it's one thing that I don't get bored of. And for the first time, I met a few of the guys a couple of years ago at Cardiff, so that was nice. Finally, putting sort of faces to actually real people rather than just to pictures. So that was really good, and hopefully this year we'll see a lot more of you when come down. So yeah,
fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. Cardiff's on my list for this year as well. So
yeah, and I think
fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I think the quicker season, I think I might have caused a bit of attention on the Facebook when I put that. I think it was sign-ups in 4 weeks and team building in 6. But I mean, that's sort of my mindset really at the minute for the game. That the sort of quicker the better. And if it means that we have to miss a bit and do a little bit in between, as I was going to do the other year until Pompey did the development league, then so be it. Because the way to keep people interested is just keep riding. Just keep going for it. And I get that it's going to be reduced numbers because real life speedway and things. I get that. But if it means we're still running but on reduced, but we have a bigger pool where people can drop in, then we can do maybe pool. We can start the pool back up and get pool tournaments going and things like that for people that can't.
What's the chances of you? What's the chances of you being a skipper again, mate?
Yeah, it's one of them. I think it's very. I don't know. It's very difficult. I think I've got to sort of really focus on one area really, just because I found that when I tried to referee while being a captain, it then took away. I mean, a lot of server time. I mean, the first season was okay because I could referee, and then I had Limo and Zagar that could both open servers, and you had Limo that was open near enough every single night of the week. So it was very different. So I mean, a lot of relationships for me have to be built within the game, personally with certain people, before I think I would relook at captain. I'm not saying I would not do captain again, but I think at this moment in time, I think when I can get on, I think I used to relate to it as a clique. But actually, I think it's just a genuine community, a genuine community base. And so when I sort of feel like I'm fully in that, and I can speak to any rider, and there'd be no sort of like, oh well, he's a, CUTN, yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's it's like, and when I can get to that stage, I might relook at it. But at the minute, I feel like every season, apart from the first one, where I sort of felt like I had choice of riders, I think every season after that, it was just like, well, I've got what's left. you know, and I have nothing against those riders because they did well for the Brewers, you know, and they did the best they could. But I think, obviously, I tried to focus season 2 more on myself when we went to Mildenhall, and obviously that was shown my average because it shot right up. But then obviously in my last season, it was more about trying to cover riders, get guessing, things like that. You know, the amount of I think we had R&R in nearly for every single meeting. And it was just, you know, or a guest in every meeting. It was just so much hard work that I started to not enjoy the game. And that was really why at the end of last season I had to step back, because it got to a point where the game wasn't helping with my mental health at all, and it was actually being negative and making it worse, because there was so much anger around, you know, trying to get a team together, trying to do, you know, trying to open servers, things like that. So I think for me, when I have built those relationships, then you know, I will relook at it.
Oh wow. Wayne has just said Ben loves a chat.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a talker.
Yeah, it's been great to have on board. Ben. Really.
Nothing wrong with that. He made up for Paris.
Oh. Well, like you said, Ben sort of says it like it is, doesn't he? Any more questions for you?
Which is why we asked him on, Dan.
Yes, definitely. We've waited all this time. We've managed to finally get him on. Any last questions for Ben from either of you before we wrap it up?
I think he's covered about everything, hasn't he?
I think he has, yeah. Hads, do you agree with that, mate?
Oh, Ben, how do you think the Gunners will do on Saturday night?
Oh, I'm gonna put my neck on the line and go for a 3-1, a 3-1 win, to bounce back from. Well, I can't say it was a shock on Wednesday, but just a great goal. And you know, yeah, Raya may have been a little bit off his line, but you know, it is what it is. There's another leg, and you know, what's the fun in winning a game 4-5, 6-0? You know, you've done it the 2 weeks before. What's the point in carrying on doing it? Boring then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has just said bring back Ramsdale.
Yeah. I have to say, I am a fan.
Capes said wasn't a great goal. Raya miles off his line. That's all football chat. This is an STS show, guys. So you know, Ben, it's been great having on board, mate.
We know you don't like football. We know you don't like football, Dan.
No, I don't like it at all. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. But yeah, Ben, thanks for popping in, mate. Yeah. So thanks for popping in, Ben, and joining us for the season review. And yeah, good luck for the rest of the season ahead. I think you're in the last round of the SCS. Yeah. SCS one. You're in that one.
Yeah. And hopefully, unless I've just had a look at it, I think unless I have an absolute shocker, then I think I should be quite safe for next season as well. But obviously, we don't know how that's going to be run. So yeah, that's another question for another day. But then I might also qualify for the GP nearly again. So you know, it all depends.
Oh, thank you, Craig, for that remark. Anyway, Ben, he just said Danny's played football with us when we were kids. He'd run from the way we try and pass it to him. Didn't like it at all. Ben, it's been great having on board, mate. We've got to wrap up now and head up to the GP previews, mate. Thanks for having on board, mate. Good luck for the rest of the season.
No problem. And as I've said before to Wolfie, if I don't know if a race is long enough, but if you ever need me on comms, it's you know, give us a shout.
We'll be in touch, mate. We'll be in touch.
If you're not reffing, you're usually reffing the meetings.
Yeah.
You're usually reffing the meetings we commentate on.
Yeah, I think I offered this season to try and ref and com on the same meeting till somebody, I think Alan came in at last minute. So yeah, that could be a bit too far, that one. But yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Don't overstretch yourself, mate.
Yeah, no. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much, and
thanks.
See you to everybody else. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Ben. See you, mate.
Bye.
Take it easy, mate. God, he talked Fraser, didn't he?
Oh, that's great. That's why we asked him on, Dan.
Yes, definitely.
Exactly what I said. Get Ben on.
I wish we had him on sooner.
Yes. Yeah,
Definitely.
half an hour earlier, maybe.
Oh, brill.
No, he's good value. Can't
Yeah.
complain.
So, anyways, moving on to the last part of the show, and it is the it's the preview of the upcoming Grand Prix. I believe there's two matches.
World champs.
World Championships taking place on Monday and Wednesday. I believe 2 semi-finals. I think the top 8 go through to the grand final. So we're looking at quali 1, and this one. Sorry, Monday. Was it Sunday and Wednesday? Yeah, Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah,
that's the one. Thanks for
Sunday
correction
and
there,
Wednesday,
Squall. So we have the draw has been done for this one, taking place at Rybnik in Poland. And we've got the lineup there. We've got Heppel making a return to the game. Good to see him back in. We've got Lango, Big Slokane, DL Shaw, Craig, Cam, Sizz, Tank, Squall, Wolfie, Hutty, Neelar, Shads, Ryan, Hadlington, and Thrax. That is the lineup for the first semi-final. Of course, the top 8 go through to the grand final in a few weeks' time. Of course, still waiting for a referee to confirm his availability. Cough, cough, Ben Thompson. But I say, Hads, you're in this match, mate. How confident are you?
I have done a few laps with Wolfie and Pow, and I think it was Super Dip, and Alan actually the other day. It wasn't too bad a track, and just need to do a bit more time to see what actual bike. There's a couple of choices, but it's going to be tough. Tank has just actually confirmed to us that Zygar and Neil are actually swapping rounds.
Not announced yet on the forum, but it is on race cards that Zagar and Neil have swap qualifiers as they will be
it's on the race card now.
So Neil's replacing Zygar, which, to be honest, I'm quite happy about because obviously Zygar's a bit tougher to beat than what Neil. I know Neil probably won't like me saying that, but
He wasn't the other night.
we got some. Obviously, we got some good riders in the field. Obviously, Kaney, DL, Craig, Sizz, they're all 8+, 9+ riders. Obviously, Tank, Squall, and obviously there's going to be myself and Shads. Obviously, we're going to be trying to be the spoilers, I think, in there and just try and get to the final. Although I know Shads hates Bradford, so
I hate all the tracks at the moment.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's good to see some non-league riders riding in this. Got Heppel, Unknown, and Barney J. So it's not just all about the league. It's good to see some sort of like maybe looking towards riding next season. I know Unknown can't commit to a full season. He does his commentary stuff, but I mean, looking at Heppel maybe coming back next season, if he can get the bug back. And Barney J's been hovering around. I think he's guested a couple of times this season, so maybe he might be looking to sign up next season. So that's going to be interesting.
So of course the top 8 go through to the grand final at Bradford. We're looking at the second semi-final here as well. Rico, Powell, Steph, Sky, Bobby, JC, Ben Thompson, Unknown, Badger, Zagar, Scotty, Barney, Wayne, Hobnob, McNally, and Capesy are the lineup for that World Championship qualifier 2. Again, this one looks a little bit, well, I would say slightly stronger than Semi 1, but you're looking at the top 8, or the top being potentially, Stefan, Powis, Zagar if he has a good night, Scotty, Barney could spring a surprise as well. Capesy could do another Audi, or he can score some points. McNally as well potentially could be a surprise how he goes. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but
Yeah, actually,
Your-
Alan
your
was actually
picks.
in the server the other day when we did laps, and Alan looked quite good actually on the track. So I think it might be a couple of surprises there.
Mm.
I think
Shads, you-
I'd expect from the first one, I expect Caney, DL Shaw, Craig, Cam, Sizzler, School, and Tank, and Ryan to be hovering around the top 8.
yeah,
Second one's a bit harder to call. I mean, looking at Powis, Stefan, got Bobby, JC, Unknown, Scotty, and Zagar. That leaves one more place. I think that's a harder one to call for me.
mm.
So yeah, depends on the night. As I say, I've not even looked at the track yet, so I'm just going by what I've been told. I wouldn't even know where to start with it. So I've only got 2 days, so I better get moving. I think.
Mm. Well, Craig has just asked, "What's the line for Ribnick?" Scholes just said,
Yeah.
"Find out at 8:25," and then Tank said, "Let me know 24 to start of the meeting."
Craig, I'll send you a recording 2 minutes before your first race, like I normally do.
Well, it's crazy to think that we're approaching like the end of the season now. This show's been going on for 18 weeks, and it's been a roller coaster, isn't it? It's been great being part of it. We can confirm that in 2 weeks it will be the last show of the season. Going to get to 20 shows, and then 20 shows will be the last one for the year. But yeah, it's been a great inclusion to the game, and of course we thought we were going to be last in what 2-3 events or 2-3
Not even
shows.
not even that. I don't think, Dan. But
2 shows.
it all changed. It all changed when we got Tank on board with the graphics.
Yes.
That helped a lot because it kept us. It stopped us worrying about what we're going to put on next and just let us concentrate on what we do.
Yeah.
And then
Tank.
when you finally got the name Norse right, I think that was a big turning point.
I don't know. I think it's just the way I say it. But it's all right.
16 weeks.
I think if the North ever do a team again, I'll just call them there by their first team name. Just
I think
get rid of the Norse name.
the Swedish guys.
Yeah, the Swedish guys. Plus whoever else they want to bring in. Because by the sounds of it, Fakey's got a few guys lined up in the pipelines
Interesting.
as well. Yeah.
Good.
So with that all being said, chaps, I think it's only fair that we wrap up tonight's show. Unless there's anything else you guys want to sort of bring in last minute.
No, I'm all good.
I'm good. I'm
No?
good, mate.
Cool. So just to confirm that next week's show will start at the later time of 8:30. So 8:30 will be the next and penultimate episode of All Four Back, where we will review the World Champs qualifiers and also look back at the Dynamite, Scorchers, and Cowboys season review. So if you are one of those teams and you want to jump in with us on that show, do feel free to get your reviews and on what your season's been. So yeah, 8:30 next week will be the start time of episode 19 of All Four Back. So
And the messages will be going out this weekend for potential guests from each of those 3 teams.
Yes.
Stand by your inboxes.
we will indeed, and of course we'll know more information about potentially season 19 either next week or the week after. So keep your eyes peeled for that to take place. But in the meantime, it has been a great show as always. Our thanks go to Fakey, Mackinnon, Ben Thompson, and Powis for jumping in for a chat this evening. We look forward to having the Cowboys, Scorchers, and Dynamite guests on next week. So until then, I'll wish a good night from Hads.
Good night, all.
I'll say a good night to Shads.
Good night, all. Thanks for listening.
And it's a good night from me, Chester. And it's also a good night from Tank as well, who's obviously been a bit silent. His mic never works at the best of times, doesn't it? But it was working fine 2 weeks ago when it was against the Storm against the Warriors against the Piemen. They say he broke it.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, conveniently broke it before the meeting. Oh,
Done us letter.
Done us letter. In his rush, he broke it. Well, you got a bit of time for next week, Tank, to prepare. We're starting at 8:30 rather than 8. So until then, it's been a good night from Tank, good night from Shads, good night from Hads, and it's a good night from me, Chester. We'll see you next week here on All 4 Back at 8:30 here on Discord. And I'm sure keep an eye on the Facebook and YouTube pages for tonight's show being posted. I'm sure Tank will give you the information in. But until then, check a flag has fallen for tonight. We wish you all a good night, and we will see you all next week. Take it easy.